Welcome back to Success Mashup Radio. Great song. Okay, so if you're sitting at the computer and you're trying to find an answer, you're trying to find out where something is, how to fix something, how to get rid of your pain, or or just doing some research on somebody or a particular restaurant or somebody you might be trying to get a job with or maybe trying to hire. What is it that you do? If you ask, I would say 9 out of 10 people, they're probably going to say Google it. Or if they don't know the answer, well, I'll go Google it and find the answer. Now, granted, Google is not the only search engine out there, but that's what we're going to talk about in this segment with Matt Brandenburg, the Vice President of Wormwood SEO, one of the largest SEO companies in the Northwest. And I bet a lot of people listening right now don't even know what the term SEO stands for. So I'm going to have Matt explain that in a second. But it's pretty interesting because people, when they go to if they have a business, or even if they have they are maybe in college or in transition from a job to another job, people do a lot of research. And if somebody's researching you or your business, or if you're a business and you want to get more exposure, I would recommend probably trying to take control and putting that to a professional that can give you some advice on to make sure that the right thing is showing up. And if you are a business, that you are showing up and you don't just have a website that's basically like putting a sign up in the desert, which is what I think a lot of businesses do these days. So, Matt, tell me, what is SEO?
SEO, the scary acronym that keeps many people employed. Search engine optimization is what it stands for. It's one of those terms that is used by many people, and frankly, it's an overused term. Everybody and their mother uses SEO to some capacity. The problem is most people don't actually do SEO properly. That's what you run into a lot of the time. There's several different types of SEO. The ones you always want to look out for, though, is like, white hat SEO versus black hat SEO. Mm-hmm. Basically, is it being done right or is it being done incorrectly? And that's one of the struggles that you run into with the SEO community anymore. You look at it like Google, for example. We mentioned Google, which does have the lion's share of the search traffic. It's today's Yellow Pages.
Yep.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize. It's kind of a hybrid. It's directional advertising in its finest, where people are able to find something that they're looking for. It's right there in their fingertips. Granted, it's making us not as bright as a society.
Making us lazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have everything right there, as a mobile ready, and it's very interesting. We live in a very interesting time right now. Mm-hmm. Where it's almost information overload.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's like having a magic Yellow Pages where you just decide what you want, hit it, and then it opens up to the page you're looking for, and it's unbelievable. And so, I mean, what search engine optimization? Tell me. I know that's what SEO stands for, but what is search engine optimization?
Sure. It's really making it so that your site becomes an option when somebody's searching. That's really the most simplest way to put it.
Yep.
If you go to different seminars, and believe me, there's several SEO seminars, mm-hmm. which are riveting, believe it or not. That's complete sarcasm. They're not riveting whatsoever. But you'll spend days, learning about, the different methodology to use with SEO. Mm-hmm. And really, it comes down to two different things. Does it say what you do on your website, and is it visible in the eyes of Google?
Right.
So, and this is what stinks. Sometimes you run into business owners who spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on their website, and it'll be in something like Flash, which is not even visible in the eyes of Google. Right. So then you have this this very expensive website that's invisible.
Yep.
And then you get to go and say, hey, that money you spend, you get to spend more.
Explain what Flash is.
Flash is it's one Adobe used to make it. It's still around right now, but it's basically a picture that's really not seen. It's a lot of coding. It looks fantastic. Exactly.
Yep.
And it's if you look at like iPhones and iPads, they are not you can't see them on those devices. One of the tricks you could do is if you have a Flash friendly site or a Flash site, put it on your iPad. Basically, if you have an iPad or an iPhone, if you could actually see the website on those devices, that's what Google could see.
Then you're safe.
Yeah, so that's a good way to look.
And it's funny because I know that those Flash websites are. A lot of web designers, I mean, those are the most expensive websites to get
They're
designed.
very pricey. Well, they're beautiful. I mean, you could really do a lot with them. I mean, luckily with HTML5, you're not seeing them as much. But still, it's something you have to look at. And, I mean, really, when it comes to search engine optimization, it can't be a cookie cutter process. Everything has to be personalized for that business. Every business has the thing that they want to specialize in, what they want to show up for, and where they want to show up.
Right. Yeah, I've had, I think a pretty common thing is with a business owner, because business owners they don't understand this whole process and this whole thing with the whole new internet and Google and social media and stuff. And they say, well, I just spent $5,000 or $10,000 on my website.
Yeah.
What? Why isn't it showing up?
Yep.
Right.
You run into that all the time.
Yeah.
And really what you need is you need a team. When you're looking at, marketing your website, you need to have a web designer. You need to have an SEO. You need to have a pay-per-click or a search engine marketing specialist.
Okay.
And all three of those have to be different people. I've never met a web designer who knows everything about SEO because, frankly, SEO is ugly. It is not attractive.
Right.
It's a lot of words.
Yeah.
So if you there's a synergy, and you basically need to find a company that's going to work well and play nice with each other. Which is funny because you look at like pay-per-click, and that's one of the biggest questions I get when I go and see somebody is they go, okay, if I have an optimized site, does that mean that I don't have to do SEM ever again? Well, Google is a business. It's a publicly traded company that makes billions of dollars every year. How do they get a majority of the revenue? AdWords. So they're going to make sure that those AdWords are showing up and people are clicking on them.
Yep. And so Google AdWords is basically pay-per-click. Okay, pay-per-click or display advertising.
Correct.
So it's in that the question you're talking about that everybody asks is, do I need to do pay-per-click? But if I'm showing up organically, right?
Correct. And you need to do both because you want to make sure you're showing up as many times as possible, being as many options as possible. And the way I look at that is I call it's a new acronym, WPO.
Okay.
Web presence optimization.
There you go.
That's what keeps me employed, people. The WPO, right? No, but it really is. You want to show up as many times as possible. It increases your conversion rate.
Yep.
And it makes it so that you're kicking off your competition, so your competition does not show up in those places. And really, you're going to get two types of users. Those that click on the free organic listings and those that click on the paid listings. So you're going to get a mix between the two.
Yep. Okay, so basically what he's saying is basically the pay-per-click is when you can show up your website at the very top right away.
Correct.
Yep.
It's instantaneous.
Yep.
SEO, search engine optimization, whenever you have, it is not instantaneous. And that's one of the things that's really hard to explain to people is that if you want to show up on the web tomorrow, you can. I could break every rule in the book and you could show up tomorrow. Your site will get banned and you'll never show up on Google again, but you could do it.
Right.
So what you do is you do pay-per-click. And with pay-per-click, you could show up tomorrow, which is okay. But if you want to show up organically, it's going to take time.
Right. So basically, is the time worth it? What happens then?
Absolutely. And a lot of the businesses I work with, you look at what's called their analytics, which really is the data of the website. And you'll see that leads and everything else, if they have a well-optimized site, 50% of their leads are going to come organically, 50% are going to come from the paid side. And there's several businesses that we work with, some of the largest here in the Northwest, where their number one lead aggregator is their website.
Yep.
So
I believe it 100%. Yep.
It's crazy how it's changed.
Yeah. So basically, what people can do, and what I believe, so they can start with the pay-per-click maybe, and they can use that to get traffic.
That's what I recommend.
Data too, right?
That's what I recommend, and that's one of the things that you'll run into a lot of SEOs who will sit there and say SEO is the bee's knees. It's great. It's fun. I love doing SEO, but the problem is you need to make sure that you're doing what's right for the client, and a customer really needs to start getting leads and generating revenue on their end. So the best thing you can do is make it so that they do have a good pay-per-click strategy in place.
It'll probably give you some good data for your
absolutely
for your SEO.
Absolutely, that's right. A good way to look at it too.
Okay, interesting. So basically, what are some of the mistakes that businesses out there are making today with their search engine marketing campaigns or strategies?
Impatient.
Okay,
I think being impatient is one of the biggest problems out there right now. Also, everyone and their mother's an expert. So what happens is you have somebody who read something online and they now deem themselves an SEO expert or SEM expert. And so they come in and they say, okay, this is how you should do things. SEO is it done white hat or black hat, right? The only difference between a good SEO is methodology and how they actually do things.
The search is over. Love was right.
Welcome back to Success Mashup Radio. The search is over once you've found Wormwood SEO in Seattle. We've got Matt Brandenburg here with Wormwood SEO, the vice president, and he's explaining some pretty interesting insights with search engine optimization, how to get your website or business to show up at the top. And we were talking about how Tell me a little bit more about some of these self-proclaimed experts and this black hat, white hat SEO and what it is.
Well, I think you look for alarms. And one of the things that I like to do when I go and meet with people is really inform them what to look for in an SEO consultant. Anybody who really wants upfront cash or makes guarantees, those are always red flags. Because Google's an algorithm. That's what it works on. And it's a moving target, essentially. So you can't really make guarantees, and you can't promise anything. Mm-hmm. But you do know if you practice the proper methodology or white hat methodology, you're going to be okay. So examples for black hat, and really this comes back down to Google and Google being the business. Google wants to have the best user experience possible.
Right.
And the reason why they want that is they want people to continue using Google. So they want to make sure that people use Google so they could use AdWords or pay-per-click so they can make more and more money, right?
Right.
So they want to institute rules for a good user experience. So if you try to cheat that, Google being the omnipotent being that it is, doesn't tell you you're in trouble, you just disappear.
Yep.
So the things you want to look out for, and this is one of those older tricks, was, back when the web really first came around, you would have businesses that would have like a white background, and then they would have a keyword in white that would say, like Seattle plumber, Seattle plumber, Seattle plumber, right? Over and over again.
Right.
And you wouldn't be able to see it unless you, like highlighted the entire back page, and then you would see that, wow, that says Seattle plumber about 1,000 times. That is black hat. That's making a bad user experience. So, there's little things you have to look at. And that's what the one thing you always want to ask is, how many times should it say something, right? So keyword density is actually something that's very important. The big thing right now is, links and, who you're linked to. There's a lot of things that need to be thought out, but you need to find somebody who's willing to tell you what they're doing so it's not secret.
Right.
That's
right.
the key, because it's your website. You want to make sure that you as a business owner always have the keys to the car. If somebody's trying to take those keys away from you, well, then you're going to find yourself in a difficult situation.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because what happens when you decide to move somewhere else or something happens, then you don't know what they actually did.
No, and the site disappears. I've run into a few different businesses where they were working with a company long term. All of a sudden they decided to make a switch, and they literally just turned off all the links, and the site went from having okay presence to disappearing altogether. You run into these things all the time.
Wow. And a lot of businesses, like we were talking about more and more these days, they depend on a lot of their traffic.
Reviews. Through traffic through Google, and then what they also are looking at is the reviews that they have about their businesses, which is another thing that's super important.
Right, with local,
absolutely. Number one search done for local businesses after someone's going to do work with them is name of business, reviews.
Interesting. Okay, so basically, this is important stuff. So what Google wants is it wants the best results. Right?
Completely.
So basically, people do it right. They need to hire somebody that knows what they're doing. So if somebody want to get in touch with you to really maybe take their business to the next level, or talk to you about a consultant, what do they do?
You know what? Actually, call me directly. Just call myself, and I always answer. It's 206-861-9734.
Okay, cool.
861-9734.
Right, and it's wormwoodseo.com. And that's it for today. So I hope you enjoyed Success Mashup Radio, and we will be back next week.